Okay. I'm going to call this Northborough Fire Station Building Committee to order for the April 9th, 2025 meeting. This is a construction kickoff meeting, and we can start by introducing ourselves, and I'll start. I'm Dawn Rand, and I chair the committee.
Dan Brillhart, Captain.
Mitch Cohen, Vice Chair of this committee and current Chair of the Northborough Select Board.
Dave Pratt, Fire Chief.
Tom Reardon, resident at large.
Diana Nicholas, resident at large.
Okay, and the rest of the room?
John Rappa, Chair of the Financial Planning Committee and liaison to the Fire Station Building Committee.
Janet Slamenda, principal at HKT Architects.
Amy Dunlap, I'm a principal at HKT Architects.
Patrick Quinlan, I'm a architect at HKT Architects.
I'm Todd Ashford, the project manager from Colliers.
Stephanie Bacon, town administrator.
Patrick Collins with HV Collins Company.
Ian Olson, project manager at HV Collins.
Brian McCourt with HV Collins Company.
Okay, the project team.
So you want to know who we're selecting for subcontractors, or we're in the process of buying the job out, I guess.
I'm gonna defer to Todd because this is actually their agenda. And
Okay.
He indicated subcontractor list, so.
Yeah, just if you have an opportunity to give us an update on where you're at.
Yeah, no.
With your buyout, if you have any way you can let us know. But
Yeah, so right now, it's all kind of in process, so I haven't really finalized with anyone, so it's all moving targets. So it's probably not good to publicly say who you might be doing until it's final, so, but everything's pretty close. So especially the early on site package, the concrete package. Met with the drywall people this morning, so we're trying to hit the ground running. So it seems to be coming together pretty well. Of course, with the public project in Mass, half the subs are the filed sub-bidders. So those contracts have I don't know if they either left in via email now or in process very shortly. So. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes, we didn't mention it, but we're being recorded. I apologize for forgetting to mentor, asking the chair to mention that.
Sure. So I would think in the next few weeks, we'd have a much better comprehensive list of who our subs are. Yep.
Okay.
Permit docs is next.
just a quick update on where things stand with the documents.
Yep.
Sorry.
I think it's for them to do, not him, but go ahead.
Gotcha. Next on the agenda was a quick update on where the permit documents stand.
So right now, we are putting together a conformed set with all the addenda. We've been working on that. We're pretty close to having it done, and we'll be able to distribute that. And we're working with all of our engineers to make sure that they get all the affidavits together that you guys need, so we can be able to forward those, as well as the Revit files and the CAD files that you can distribute to your subcontractor. So all that's in the works, and we should be able to get those out to you. If not this week, it'll be early next week. We'll be able to pass that on.
Okay, construction contract.
I know Tim's not here and you have the contract. You were going to get to Tim, but Todd's here, so you can give it to Todd. We'll let whatever we need, actions we need to take on that. Steph's going to be signing it. Todd.
So that's 2 copies of the contract. I signed it in the original bonds.
Okay, so Steph should be signing that today, I assume, right? Our town administrator? Yep. Come on up, Steph, up front. It's up to you. You can turn around so it'll be on camera. They're all over the place.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Dan. Okay, let's see.
You may want to say here and here, because I'll sign it. I sign wherever I want.
So this is the contract. So it's 2 copies. These are both the same. And we'll go through at your own pace. I just want to show you where the signature page is.
The that's all you care about, huh?
I did my thing, that's that, and then there's also an exhibit, A or one. Exhibit A is the bonds and insurance requirements. So that's 1 and 2 are the same, and then the bonds.
Okay. Did any of you want to look through this?
I reviewed it, I sent it out to, did I send it out to everybody, didn't I? I sent it out to you at least. I thought I sent it out to you.
I mean, I trust others on this. My only question is does our project manager recommend approval at this time, or is there anything else that you think you or we should review before Stephanie executes it?
We do recommend signing the contract as provided to you now. There are a few things that we will go through that are deliverables owed to the committee and the project team from HV Collins. It's not part of the contract today, so nothing precluding you from signing today.
Officially getting started. It's very exciting.
This is exciting.
It's been a long time coming.
Just making sure you don't have any papers in your back pocket there.
Comes Tim.
I saw him whip in. Tim's here. Saw him power slide in.
He's not running, though.
Okay, and then the performance deed, bond.
Yeah, performance and a payment bond is the original cost.
She's covering this right now, right?
She's construction contract.
Yeah.
There's no, I don't think there's any signature line.
Is that separate?
Okay, Tim.
I think so. We'll find out how that Tim's here.
Contract principal and the surety. Okay. Yep. Perfect. Okay. So do we take a copy for the?
Now that Tim's here. These are going great. So we've done our introductions, we talked a little bit about subs, but there really isn't anything to speak about yet because we're still in the process. And we just went through the contract for signature. So what's our,
Next steps? So, yeah.
yeah, you have to hold it up.
Thank you. So, yeah, just signature, and then we can distribute. We'll want to probably just make a copy for us. We don't need a wet signature, just a copy will be fine,
Okay.
just for our records, and HKT would probably want one as well.
Okay. All right.
Of just the signature page or the whole thing?
Hold on.
Okay.
The whole thing? You want me to go?
No, we can just scan it when you get back and scan it to me and I'll take care of distribution.
Okay. So you're taking this?
I'll
back?
take it and I'll take care of distribution.
Don't lose this.
I'm a trustworthy soul.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Tim?
Anything, so the letter of intent's the next one on the, oh, there you go. I just took the agenda I was given and we put it on there.
Yeah, so we, when we issued the contract for HV Collins to sign, we put in there just kind of a notice to proceed or letter of intent so they could get their bonding and those sort of things squared away until we got the contract fully executed. So that's already been issued with the signing of the contract. We'll next start having our meetings, but we'll start talking about deliverables. There are certain things that we want to get right away, and that's a copy of the construction schedule. You know, we have a window for the work to be done, but Collins will provide a full breakdown of the activities to get from here to the substantial completion and closeout. We'll have a schedule of values so that when they start billing and going through that process, we can track those billings through different components of the job all the way through. So there's some of that type of activities we'll be doing, talking about just the administration part of the submittal process, the request for information process, so when the contractor has questions, What's the process for getting those questions into the design team, getting those responded to, ultimately answers going back, those types of activities. So we'll have kind of a nuts and bolts meetings on a regular basis with the contractor. Typically we have them weekly, and we'll be going through those. And we'll be providing you updates, again, on a regular basis going forward, so you have the information on a timely basis.
Okay. Schedule?
So the schedule is just that we ask for a critical path schedule from the contractor, so they break it down by activities or phases, so that way we can kind of track their progress. They may be ahead in some line items, behind in others, but essentially, we just want to be able to discuss that on a weekly basis when we have our meetings, and just gauge how we're doing. If we're falling behind, we'll ask for a recovery schedule. We'll look for maybe some real detailed 3-week look-aheads at each meeting, so we can kind of get prepared for what exactly is going to be going on, and if we need some other sub-consultants on site to review material testing, or other consultants on site, so we have a little bit of heads up to schedule those. Moving on to logistics, it is a small site. There's a lot of earthwork to be done. So talking about just how we're going to be setting up the site with them, and we'll want to review it and just make sure power and locations of trailers, those types of things, parking, contractor parking, what are we going to do? And just so we're all on the same page, obviously review with the fire department, police department, if there's any locks on the fences, for make sure we have keys, and I know you guys have your way of getting through if need be, but those types of logistical issues, just on-site delivery timing, and we don't want trucks stopping in the middle of Route 20 as they're waiting if they get there early in the morning, that type of thing. So we'll go through the logistics of what expectations are of the town and what we're expecting of the contractor. And then just communications. Typically, we like everything to funnel through us back to the town. The architect is usually copied on those communications. Oftentimes, certain people on the committee might be copied on those communications, but we'll just talk about a communications tree, if you will, and how we want to make sure we're distributing information. We don't want things getting lost. We want to make sure that things are documented so we can follow things through to completion. The financial process, there's a lot that we need to coordinate as the OPM with the town, and make sure that we get on a schedule of submitting invoices on a timely basis, and make sure we go through a good process so that we can keep the cash flow going. There's nothing that'll slow a job down quicker than a problem with cash flow. So we want to make sure that we keep on getting payments to the contractor when needed. And that really starts with when they submit what they call their pencil rec. They put in a requisition for payment on a monthly basis. We'll review that, make sure that the progress payment ties to the actual work in the field, whether there's any stored material, those types of things. They'll finalize that requisition, and then we'll process it through the town.
Before you, Madam Chair, if I may. So before you leave financial process, I sent you an email from the finance director the other day. Did you see what he was looking for line items that he wants us to draft a PO on?
Yeah, so I did talk with him on that. That's just accounting from how you guys set up your borrowing and what line items within the town's budget versus our project budget.
So do I need to provide him, since you communicated, do I need to provide him with purchase orders with the line item, or are you guys all set with what you talked about?
I think we're all set, but we can certainly sit down with Jason and go through that.
Okay, I'll close the loop with him just to make sure, but I just wanted, since I had you here, I wanted to ask.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And then the project closeout. Ultimately, that's where we want to get to, is the occupancy of the building, but prior to that, there's going to be a lot of things that we'll need to do along the way. Procurement of furniture, fixtures, and equipment, training, making sure deliverables are submitted, which would be the closeout documents, the as-built documents, warranty type of items. So the closeout is a long process. It starts early on to make sure that we have those things when we need them, and that we can get facilities, if you will, into the building. So as it's being built, you can kind of see above the ceiling before it goes up and know where things are, those types of things that we kind of build that into what we consider our training.
Always somebody that's got to make noise when a fire station's going.
Questions from the board first? Anybody?
Do we know when groundbreaking will be?
Not yet. We haven't talked with Collins about that, but we can certainly have those conversations and get back to you right away as well.
I'll put in a selfish plug for before May 13th, if feasible, but that's purely for self-benefit only.
Oh.
Well, I'm still chair of the select board. I would like to participate in that manner also, but
Okay.
whoever works.
Yeah, I'm going away for a week and a half. I forget when it is, I have to look. But I'll let Tim know when it is. And when I'm going house shopping?
Okay. Any questions from anybody else?
There will be some things that we need to do on our end to kind of get prepared for construction. We're going to need to go out for proposals from material testing companies. So we hire a special consultant who comes in and they'll check compaction of soils and strength of concrete and configuration of reinforcing rebar for the reinforced concrete, those types of items. So it's in it. We have a line item within our budget, and we'll go through the procurement process based on what we estimate the cost to be. We may be able to just go out and get 3 proposals. If we think it's going to be a little higher, we may have to go through the whole RFP process. But either way, we'll go through that process and get somebody on board before they really get going on the site.
I understand from Scott Charpentier. Scott couldn't make it today, but he mentioned that we have to speak with Bob Berger, and we're going to be working on that end, or are you working on that end?
Yeah, we've been working with Bob. Bob Berger is our LSP, our licensed site professional for hazardous material. We do know it was a gas station site. It had been cleaned up, but Bob is going to be on board when they are digging, just to make sure that if we hit something that we'll have him quickly available for testing that material, and if we do need to take some additional items off the site, we can stockpile it until we find a site to bring it. So there may be some issues there, but we're hoping that we don't run across anything, because they did dig down pretty deep and then refilled those excavations after the cleanup. So we're hoping that will go smoothly. The other thing that we'll probably want to do, a consultant will put out a request for a proposal for commissioning services. It's something that we didn't want to do that until the bids came in, just to see where the numbers were. But the commissioning process, usually the commissioning agent will review all the submittals that come in on building envelope, the skin of the building, the roof of the building. We're looking at how materials interact with one another, make sure there's no compatibility issues. They'll be looking at the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems. When things are going in, and we can take a look at them and see that they're all appear to be going in fine, but until you turn it on, you really don't know. So having a commissioning agent who can kind of put it through some of its paces at closeout and at startup is very helpful. And so we think it's a definite benefit to the project, but it's not under contract yet. It would be it's outside the contractor that this testing is, similar to the material testing. But it's just another way of ensuring that you're getting a product in the end that works for your needs, that works for the building.
Anyone else?
Tim, do you keep a photographic log during the process?
We typically take daily field report pictures, or when we are out on site, we'll take pictures and we'll have a log of those, and we can provide those to you. On some projects, we'll set up a camera that can take
already ahead of you, but you go ahead first.
Okay, well, they could do a time lapse, but it could be a link where you could go and just pull it up and see what's happening. They're very interesting, and there's a lot going on when the site work is going up and the steel is going up, but once the building envelope, the brick starts going up, you really don't see a whole lot. But they are helpful, and there are different companies that provide that. But certainly, when we're on site walking around, we'll be taking a lot of photos.
Our cable access department has already reached out, working with Deputy Espezi, and we're going to be setting up time-lapse cameras. Is that correct, Deputy?
Time lapse, and I think you want to do
A live.
feed.
We talked about doing both and just having it there. So Kaylee's going to coordinate. She'll coordinate us. We'll talk to you guys. Where's the best place for that, et cetera. We'll get that put up.
Yeah, and I can show you some examples of other projects where we have them, and so you get a sense for what you're going to see, or what they're capable of.
So before the walls and the ceilings are closed up, you document all 6 sides of a space?
We don't go through and do that level of documentation, of a photographic documentation of the inside of the building. Certainly, if you wanted to do that, we could set up a firm to come in and do that.
Because they may change the location of systems on site as they go, and then it's not necessarily reflected in your as-bills. So if you need to do a repair, it's nice to have a photographic record of what's in that wall.
Yeah, I believe internally, we have that capability. It's not something that are typically what we do. We do commissioning in-house, so they have that they use it for asset tagging all the equipment and those types of things. It's relatively inexpensive to do that if a firm comes in and does that, but if you're doing it during the construction phase, so you're coming in multiple times, it's really just about how long you have somebody on site doing it, so what frequency. But it's a relatively small building, it's a large bay, but the rest of the building really isn't that large, so before the walls go up and the sheetrock starts going up, you can coordinate.
I'll agree that that's a really good idea to get that in documentation so that, anyone who needs to maintain the building, whether it be in a year or even more so in 20 years, knows what's behind every wall and where.
Yeah, and all the training, we like to have that videotaped as well, just so that, again, if the person who's maintaining it today leaves tomorrow, the next guy will have that knowledge.
Anyone else?
No questions, but I have something else. I don't know if the contractor wants to say anything about.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we're excited to get
We're
going.
excited. We can get moving ahead.
Yeah, we're very excited. So the next scheduled meeting for this board is April 16th at 6 o'clock?
Correct, in the select board meeting room.
Okay.
So I have a couple things I need to mention, Madam Chair.
Okay.
So we received an amendment that had a bunch of stuff had to do with drainage. Because as you know, we've been dealing with drainage with MassDOT. And myself and Scott had some questions we wanted to have, so we had a meeting with PAR to discuss it. What we ended up doing was breaking out, PAR being the engineer, we ended up breaking out the amendment. Steph signed one of the amendments for surveying only. Okay, so that was right around $6,000, I believe. The other amendment will be coming forward at our next meeting, and that's for redesign, because we actually have to redesign the drainage system, which then we'll have to go in front of, again, Concom again, and we'll have to go through that whole process again. But we're basically changing the drainage system from the east of the site to the west of the site. And we have to redesign all that, so there'll be a cost with all of that redesign. That'll be coming forward because of the amount. I was unwilling to discuss that. That had to come forward to a meeting. So that'll be coming forward to our next meeting. It should be ready by then, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll make sure that the committee was aware of that and weren't shocked when that came forward and went, what's this? So it is, well, comparatively speaking to the building, it's not a significant amount of money, but it's a significant amount of money. How's that?
Could have been a lot worse.
Could have been. We're talking in the $80,000 range, so maybe a little bit more. So I just wanted to make sure I threw that out there. Did I miss anything with that? I hit that pretty close?
No, I think, again, this is just all driven by Mass DOT.
Yep. And their Mass DOT's progress of half a step forward, 3 steps back, and then half a step forward. So,
And this is why we have a contingency fund
Yeah,
to
exactly.
deal with these kind of surprises. So
Exactly.
And then the only other thing we haven't talked about is that we haven't put a fee proposal together
Yep.
yet for CA, and so we're planning on getting that to you before the next meeting.
So, yeah, that'll be coming up at that meeting as well, which you had emailed me about. Were you sending something too as well?
Yeah, we'll be sending in
Yep.
something too. So we'll try and wrap up all the construction-related amendments, at least what we know about now, and get all that squared away and finalized.
And that was all, those were known. We knew those were coming in, so. That's all I had.
Anything else that legally could come before the committee? Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Unless there's something anybody else would like to say.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor? Thank
Look
you,
how
everyone.
painless that is. I can't tell you how excited we are to be